Will Nikon be launching the Nikon Z6 III with a 33 megapixel sensor? And what about the Nikon Z7 III? Will it get a 45 or 61 megapixel sensor? Then stick around after this short message for the latest leaks coming out of China. But first, subscribe to stay up to date on the latest camera news. And for all the minor news stories, all those news stories not quite big enough to have their own separate video, follow me on X, formerly known as Twitter. A well-known provider of camera registrations on Weibo, E8M8888, just gave us an update on two anticipated Nikon cameras that are supposed to be released shortly. And this is the exact same user that brought us the latest and controversial leak specifications on the Canon EOS R1. You know, the one where we're supposed to be getting a flagship mirrorless camera, a jack of all trades, the master of everything with just a dinky little 30 megapixel sensor. Yeah, that one there. This is all coming from E8M8888, and E8M8888 just kind of rolls off the tongue, and yes, even in Chinese it doesn't quite roll off the tongue either. This person has been very credible when it comes to reporting on camera registrations coming out of China. But when it comes to specifications, not so much. In fact, most of the specifications that they've reported on have turned out to be not true, more or less forecasts or projections, rather than anything credible. So let's get to the specifications, the few that we do have from E8M8888. And the Nikon Z6 III is going to have a 33 megapixel backside illuminated sensor, while the Nikon Z7 III is a little bit less clear, indicating it either has 45 megapixels, 61 megapixels, or both. There is no date, there is no time that we're supposed to be getting these cameras launched, but there are some registrations, again, coming out of China that indicate that Nikon is getting ready to release at least one camera, and the smart money, it's all on the Nikon Z6 III. But if you've been following Nikon, if you've been following Nikon rumors or other sources of Nikon information, then you might think that this resolution for the Nikon Z6 III at 33 megapixels, which is quite a bit higher than the Canon EOS R6 Mark II, seems to go against previous leaked specifications, and, well, you'd be correct. With a few days before Christmas, Nikon rumors reported on some leaked specifications for the Nikon Z6 III, also coming out of China. And here, it's supposed to have a 24.5 megapixel sensor, the same resolution as the Canon EOS R6 Mark II. Now, it doesn't mention if it's going to be full frame, and it doesn't mention backside illuminated. It just says it's a sensor. And look at that. Duo XSpeed 7 processors. That means it's going to have two XSpeed 7 image processors, and that's bold as well. Again, we don't have any specifications from this latest, I guess we wouldn't call it tweet, but from Weibo, anything about that. We just have the resolution of 33 megapixels backside illuminated sensor. The specs from December indicate an ISO range of between 164,000, very respectable, and that it's going to have 9 subject detection autofocus, the same as the Nikon Z9. It's obviously going to have IBIS, and the video recording modes are supposed to include 6K at 24, 25, and 30 frames per second, and 4K all the way up to 120 frames per second with Nikon Log and HLG. And of course, it's going to have a CF Express Type B card slot, as well as an SD card slot. But no Nikon RAW, and a better cooling design. What is it about 2023 and 2024? It seems that all the rumored or leaked specifications just don't seem to line up. The ones for the Canon EOS R1 going back 2 years are bouncing all over the place, saying that the R1 is going to be a jack of all trades, a master of everything. Talking about 45 megapixels, 60 megapixels, 80 megapixels, and some even saying 102 megapixels. But then we get another source coming out and saying, yeah, no, it's going to be around 30 megapixels. And then Canon Rumors comes out saying, yeah, it's closer to that 30 megapixel thing. And of course, the Nikon Z6 III, 24.5 megapixels, all this information, 6K up to 30 frames per second, ISO 100 to 64,000, 2 image processors. And then today, from China again, we have some more information that contradicts that, saying, yeah, no, it's actually going to be 33 megapixels for the Nikon Z6 III, and we haven't been talking about the Nikon Z7 III, and these two cameras are, or the Z6 and the Z7 are normally announced at the same time. but telling us that the Nikon Z7 Mark III, which nobody else has talked about up until this point, is going to have either 45 megapixels or 61 megapixels. Now, I do want to add another caveat. When I machine translated this post, it didn't add any more clarity to it. There must be some idioms that are lost in translation, because this is the literal translation of that source. Nikon looks to be getting ready to release a new camera. Well, they say new machine, but we get the point. They go on and say, at first, there's no evidence of poisonous milk. No poisonous milk. I didn't quite understand that, so my wife, who actually reads Chinese characters, looked at it and said, well, if you drink poisonous milk, you'll die. So what E8M8888 is trying to say here is that when it comes to this information that was provided to them, there's no evidence that it's fake, that it's poisonous, that if you consume it, it's going to harm you in any way whatsoever. But then it's that last sentence, a mouthful of milk to death. A mouthful of milk to death? Well, maybe that's a loose translation of our idiom, take it with a grain of salt. I'm sorry, guys. I wish I could give you more. I wish I could validate this a little bit more. But one of the things of getting this information out there is it shakes the rumor tree, and then others like Nikon Rumors, the new camera, and others will then, it shakes the rumor tree to provide us with more information that can validate this information. One other thing I found really interesting when I was checking the data this morning, though, is only about 30% of you are actually subscribers to this channel. That means 70% of you aren't. So please do me a favor. It really helps this channel. Go ahead and subscribe. And also don't forget to follow me on X. And if you're looking at purchasing the Nikon Z6 Mark II, the Nikon Z7 Mark II, a whole bunch of series of lenses that are on sale, or maybe you like Sony and Nikon gear, Panasonic, Pentax, and OM Systems, or what are they calling themselves these days, OM Digital Solutions, then please consider purchasing from my affiliate links down below. These are the links right here. I have them in the description. Whenever you make a purchase through those affiliate links, I get anywhere from 2 to 12% back, and it really does help this channel grow. It's what allows me to purchase really expensive and wonderful, incredible gear like the R5, the 100 to 500 millimeter, the 200 to 800 millimeter, and is getting me ready to purchase some really amazing gear this year. I'm just really excited about what's about to come out. And for anybody who's on the fence, I've had a few people saying they're really frustrated with Canon or Nikon or Sony or whoever it is. There's going to be a lot of announcements by almost every single camera manufacturer this year, and if you can hold off till at least June, we should have a bulk of those cameras being announced. The refresh of the S1 series, Canon's announcements. We're supposed to be getting some lenses, the S5 Mark II, the R1, Nikon, the Z6 Mark III, Nikon Z7 Mark III, and Nikon Z9 variant, a couple of Sony cameras. Also, we will be getting some announcements in the fall as well, but if you are looking at switching brands, you want to wait for the latest and greatest to be out by the other brands, because the last thing you want to do is switch on anger, buy your new Sony, Nikon, or whatever it is, and then find out they just released a better camera. But that's it for now. Thank you so much for watching. Have yourself a great day, and a big thanks to anybody who's used my affiliate links. It really does make a huge difference. We'll see you again soon. Cheers. Bye-bye now.